20 months of COVID-19 imposed restrictions on access to the United Nations, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome those joining us in person here today and to welcome those joining us virtually for the first hybrid town hall meeting with civil society since the start of the pandemic. And for that, we thank His Excellency Abdullah Shahid, the President of the 76th session of the General Assembly, for convening this event, a testament to his commitment to work with everyone and to ensure that civil society has an opportunity to engage with him in the first 2 months of assuming his presidency. Yesterday, the United Nations was pleased to send out information on the gradual lifting of restrictions on UN headquarters. More detailed information will follow in the coming days. And I hope that you agree that being together here today and having civil society representatives share the stage with the President of the General Assembly is an important moment. And a gentle reminder that we are still operating within the safety regulations of social distancing, keeping the masks on. You can take off the mask when it's your turn to speak, but otherwise we kindly ask that you keep the masks on. Civil society is a key stakeholder in our work at the United Nations, and I'm very happy to see you back amongst us in person. We're very grateful for the support that you have given us as we marked UN 75, the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, joining our advocacy on communication campaigns to promote the SDGs and climate action, and most recently, the support of our department's Verified campaign that was launched a year and a half ago to combat misinformation and disinformation. With thanks to many of you, we reached more than 1 billion people in 2020, and we will probably expect to reach more than that in 2021. Many of you have also shared with us the work that you have done to help the most vulnerable among those affected by the pandemic. Thank you for that work and for sharing it with us. Your Excellency, President Shahid, your vision statement speaks about a presidency of hope, delivering for people, for the planet, and for prosperity. 5 rays of hope. In a world afflicted by a pandemic, a climate crisis, environmental degradation, and rising inequalities, the world needs hope as a counterforce to a challenging reality. To recover better, we need to do so at all levels. Civil society is an important stakeholder in that, and I'm looking forward to hearing reflections from civil society leaders about the 5 rays of hope outlined in your vision. Before I present His Excellency and give him the floor, I would like to flag that the event today is available in the 6 official languages of the United Nations, so please tune in to the language of your choice.
You are monitoring and defending compliance, urging governments to fulfill their human rights obligations and providing services. In many cases, CSOs were among the first responders in crisis situations. At the end of this crisis, there can be no return to business as usual. The question of whether recovery will lead to more inclusive, just, sustainable, and democratic societies depends largely on the participation of civil society organizations in this process. Dear friends, I have always believed in the promise of the United Nations. As a long-term parliamentarian in the Maldives, it is an honor for me to preside over this global parliament, dedicated to the betterment of our people and our planet. This is not a task to be done in isolation. This parliament of humanity must bring together all people from all walks of life, from every region and from all backgrounds.
Here is Mr. Rajiv Valiev from Russia's Sail of Hope, who will join us to speak on revitalizing the United Nations, and he is with us in person. Please take.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые делегаты, дамы и господа. Для меня большая честь выступить сегодня с трибуны Генеральной Ассамблеи ООН в рамках 76-й сессии от имени региональной благотворительной общественной организации «Содействие людям с инвалидностью «Парус надежды», а также от Международного альянса стратегических проектов БРИКС, возглавляемой Ларисой Николаевной Звенцовой. Выражаем благодарность за эту возможность организаторам и лично председателю Генеральной Ассамблеи ООН его превосходительству господину Шахид и генеральному секретарю его превосходительству господину Антонио Гутерришу, а также всем участникам и модераторам. То, что мы сегодня собрались в этом зале, символизирует коллективную решимость восстановить живой диалог, прерванный после начала пандемии COVID-19. Широкий охват и сотрудничество Объединенных Наций, особенно сегодня, востребованы сейчас как никогда, когда число проблем на глобальной повестке дня продолжает расти. И роль участия гражданского общества в продвижении миссии ООН как никогда имеет актуальную значимость для построения счастливого, демократичного и инклюзивного будущего. В эпоху постоянных изменений, неопределенности и растущим разрывом расслоения общества между богатыми и бедными, роль становления молодежи и личностей и людей, их правильная адаптация в жизнь – одна из приоритетных задач всех правительств мира. Важным темам на сегодняшней повестке являются проблемы, с которыми сегодня мы сталкиваемся. Это безработица, нищета, ранние браки, детская беременность, дискриминация, инклюзивное образование и права людей с ограниченными возможностями. Мы должны укрепить усилия по борьбе с дискриминацией и стигматизацией. Говоря о современных вызовах, неизменным является одно – это пандемия COVID-19 и ее последствия, которые затронули все аспекты жизни человечества. Но не выбирая нацию, религию, социальный статус и так далее, перед данной угрозой мы оказались равны, и решать ее мы должны в равной степени и в единстве. Статистика унесенных жизней – это не просто цифры, это реальные люди, которые имели такое же право на жизнь, как каждый из присутствующих в этом зале. Эта участь коснулась многих семей, в том числе моей, где личной трагедией явилась потеря любимого отца, блестящего врача Валиева Абдуллы Раджаповича, который посвятил всю свою жизнь служению народу и клятве Гиппократа, согласно клятве Гиппократа. Согласно правилу 62.30, прошу председателя Генассамблеи поддержать идею непосредственно перед закрытием заключительного пленарного заседания сессии Генеральной Ассамблеи, предложив представителям соблюсти минуту молчания, посвященную молитве и размышлениям, и ознаменовать эту минуту молчания в честь жертв, в честь жизни унес COVID-19. И пусть эта минута будет поводом еще раз задуматься нам всем о неповторении и недопущении человечеством подобных явлений вновь, призывая объединить усилия и поддержать друг друга. И только так вместе мы сможем прийти к общему знаменателю развития человеческого счастья и укрепить роль Организации Объединенных Наций. Как гражданин мира, рожденный в прекрасном Узбекистане, получивший образование в России, проживающим в прекрасном США, давайте будем ценить человечность выше всего. Желаю удачи и процветания вам на пути возрождения ООН. Всех благодарю за внимание. Спасибо большое.
For survival at the same time. I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Basu, for your words and inspiration, having started doing this at the age.
This issue is, yes, women are not regarded as proper to be heads of security agencies or defense ministers or peacekeepers. These are more seen as the realm of the men. But no, women actually perform better in negotiations, in peace building, in peacemaking, and conflict resolution. We need to do away with these stereotypes. And this starts here. And we need to keep on saying this, increasing awareness, and we need to say it more and more often in these halls at the United Nations. The Secretary General and I will do everything possible to make sure that this is the way forward. Recognizing that sustainable security is only 30% of scientists in climate related area are women. Only 12% of environment ministers, climate change ministers, or heads of climate change, environment related agencies are women. But it's also a fact that women know better about climate than men. And I'm not talking down on any of the men here, it's just stating a fact. By baking in our countries, in many parts of the world, women, they know our Mother Earth better. Because they go and fetch water, they go and do the farming, they do the chores. We should be asking women, what's happening to the earth? We should be getting this important knowledge from them. We should be giving them an opportunity to sit around the table when we are making important decisions. And that is the reason why I will champion this, and I will continue to talk about this and hoping that we will together be able to make a difference. Thank you. I say that because during the interactive dialogue I was subjected to during the campaign, I was sitting here where Mahir is sitting, and the then President of the General Assembly was sitting here, and I spent 3 hours in this General Assembly hall being asked different questions by the membership to make sure that I was up to the job. And many of the members, and I say this very proudly, many of the members asked me about the involvement of civil society in the United Nations work, where my position is with regard to it. And I committed then, and I commit to you now, the important role that the civil society plays in the work of the United Nations. When I took office in September, the General Assembly was still in the process of returning to in-person meetings here at the United Nations. During my first meeting with the Secretary General after I took office, both the Secretary General and I agreed that it was important for the civil society to be able to come back into this building. And we have been working together. We also both agreed that it has to be done cautiously to make sure that proper protocols are observed, and we never doubted the important role that the civil society.
Such a large continent. I still need to do. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. We will attend. I'm sorry. I have another engagement which I have to share.
Who's in charge of him? Who's in charge of
You can come in here to my office.
I need to talk to him.
Can we take her off photo?
Of course.
Can you take a photo?
I need the card so I can get in touch with him. Queen Mother been here for 52 years. He has something to card out.
Yes, thank you. Playing Vicky. Did you get the picture? No, it's okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
One guy was holding him up so long. He was just...
Ладно, я хотел... Окей. Джордж.
Я постаралась.
Он снимает.
Будет секретарем.